Now we're on to module 2. I hope you're enjoying the Now we're on to module 2. I hope you're enjoying the Vanguard Society courses I put together, spending hours to give you this information. Now we're going to talk about how to make your first ever standout application, which starts with what companies actually look for. Because it's all well and good wanting a degree apprenticeship, but you need to know exactly what they're looking for and focus on that. So in this lesson, in 5 minutes, I'm going to break down exactly why experience matters, why personality always beats knowledge, and why being unique isn't always a good thing. Thirdly, linking your skills, such as things like playing football, going to the gym, daily activities, and how you could transform those into your skills. The importance of passion and interest in the industry and the company. And of course, the 3 biggest mistakes you guys make on a day-to-day basis that you come to me for help for. And that I made several times over, and I wish I knew the answer to. I'm gonna go through that. Firstly, experience matters, but not how you think. Let me ask you a question. Which thing do you think employers prefer most? Someone who's been playing football for 3 years, or someone who's done 2 work experiences and got A stars in their A levels, just like on the right? You probably said the second one, but it's not that obvious. Because my point here is, it depends how you talk about it. You could turn your football experience into resilience. Look at the left. She's showing resilience, time management, leadership, communication. Because you're in high pressure moments, you're losing matches showing resilience. You're talking to your teammates, you're leading the team being a captain. You could easily turn your day-to-day activities into transferable skills for your applications. It's a gem. Because it's not about having impressive grades or impressive work experience or impressive credentials. It's about being a reasonable person and having life skills, not just skills on paper. Which leads me on to my second point. Personality is much more important than knowledge. Because the truth is, mate, you're 17 or 18. And you're basically a teenager. You're not expected to have all the technical knowledge in the world. Instead, they want to look at, are you curious? Are you motivated? Do you have an interest in the industry? Are you willing to learn? These soft skills, what companies call it, are basically you showing that you have life experience and that you can actually be a reasonable person at work. You know, you're not just a random guy who can't have conversations, who can't work, who isn't reliable but just has good grades. They don't want robots. If they wanted that, they would have hired robots, but they haven't. They want human beings, and that means you have to have these soft skills. So don't just list your grades or your work experience in your interviews, cover letters, CVs. Make sure you show a bit of personality. Thirdly, linking your skills. I made this cover letter 2 years ago, back when I was 17, and I want to show you it because it clearly shows that 90% of students mess up during their cover letter, talking about themselves the whole time, where instead they should be talking about why they suit the role. That leads me on to the third slide. This is where 90% of students mess up. I'm just reading this cover letter now, and recruiters actually want whether you have a genuine interest in the industry and whether you actually have the skills to be in that industry. For example, I did an EPQ on racism, right? And I linked that. I said I've gained writing skills, I've gained knowledge about the industry, I've actually done my research. And because I was applying for law, specifically commercial law at the time, I knew they liked writing and research skills because that's what you do in law. So I linked doing an EPQ, completely unrelated topic, but I linked the skills I learned from that project onto my application, and I hope you take away the same. For example, if you're doing A-level economics right now, just say I've learned about supply and demand. Link it to the finance apprenticeship you're applying to if you are. Try and link your skills back to your application, even if they're not directly related. Following from the topic of passion, interest, and showing a genuine desire to work at the company, I'm going to ask you a question. If you were a recruiter for a day, which student would you hire to do a degree apprenticeship? I'll give you a second to read it. I'm going to choose the first one, obviously. Why? Because they show their interest. They don't just say it. If you just say it like on the right hand side, you're always going to lose. You have to be specific. You have to show, don't tell. That's the main piece of advice I'd give you. Because if you're applying to law, finance, engineering, but outside the classroom, outside your A-levels, you haven't done anything to show you that interest, it's a big red flag. And talking about red flags, I'll put a little illustration here from The Simpsons. The 3 biggest mistakes students make when it comes to making a standout application. And that is, as you can see, not customizing your application, not proofreading it, and being unprepared for the interviews. These are all rookie mistakes, which leads me on to the closing slide. Hope you found that lesson useful. The first lesson of how to make your first standout application. Make sure you download the free resources. It covers plug and play CVs, real cover letters, work experience, interview prep, everything you need to make a standout application, all for free. You're part of my Vanguard Society, so I'm giving you the best treatment. Hope you enjoyed that lesson. I'll see you in the next one.